So this was the pre-release we looked at in a lesson previously, a few weeks back. Hopefully if you did the work on this, there weren't any surprises in the question, and phrases such as a troy ounce and some of the different ideas in here felt quite familiar. For the first part, saying want to invest £1,000 and thinking about 3 different ways to do it. And at the end, you need to make your mind up about which of these is the best way and give reasons for it. So the first one, working out the percentage profit of premium bonds. So £1,000 of premium bonds will win £120 over 10 years. For percentage profit, just need to do the winnings, the profit, divided by the total, multiplied by 100, and that will give us 12% profit. And that's worth a mark. Second part, we're told there's about 45,700 million premium bonds, and each month about 3 million of these win a prize. And you had to find the probability of a particular bond winning a prize in a given month. Lots of people made slips here on the amounts. What you had to do was 3 million, and we could write it as 3 million, but as the denominator is also going to be in millions, it's easy just to leave it as 3 over 45,700 million. And it's fine just to leave it like that. That would give you the 2 marks for it. If you did work it out, put it as a simpler fraction or put it as a decimal, you still got the marks for that. You then have to look at the probability that the prize of more than £1,000 is won in a month. The key bit is more than here. So in total, from the pre-release document, you could see there are 163 prizes greater than £1,000. Now the probability of this we wanted in the form 1 in n. So there's 163 in 2 million and so on chance. So to find a 1 in chance, to write the probability like this, we're dividing this by 163. So we've got to divide this by 163 as well. Which comes out as this. Now the last bit is saying it wants us to give it in the form 1 in n with n to the nearest 1,000. So that's going to be 1 in 18,000, and that gets you 2 marks. One of the marks for getting to this stage here, you could have rounded the amounts a little bit for this and you would still have got the mark. And then the second mark, you had to round it to the nearest 1,000. We're then looking at £1,000 invested in a savings account paying 2% compound interest. So at the end of 10 years, when we're using our compound interest formula, we can do 1,000 times 1.02 to the power of 10. And that 1.02, that comes from, we'll have 100% plus 2% at the end of a year, and if we divide that by 100, we get our decimal multiplier. We do it to the power of 10 because that's the number of years that it's going to be invested for, and this comes to and here you got 1 mark for showing the calculation, another mark for the answer. If you just did the answer, you got both those marks. But then again, it was asking you to round your answer to the nearest pound. So for the third and final mark, you had to show that. Then looking at the price of gold and looking at a troy ounce, which was explained in those pre-release materials, and looking at index prices, which we had a look at before as well. So we want to find the index price of gold in 2017. So for this, we want to do the price of gold in 2017 divided by the price of gold in 2000, and then multiply this by 100. And again, we're asked to round it at the end for the final mark. and that was worth 3 marks if you got that final rounded answer. There are a couple of different ways you could have thought this through. So for example, some people did 100 divided by 183.7 and then multiplied that by 980, and that got you to the same place. Okay, you can see we're still multiplying these two at the top and dividing by this. The very last part, you had to come up with your reasons for which of these was the best one. You didn't get a mark for choosing one of them, but you got a mark for the advantage you gave for that one and the disadvantage you gave for the other two. And they could have been examples like this. And just be careful with these, you're really clear in what you're saying. A few people lost marks when I could kind of just about see what they were saying, but it wasn't clear enough for a mark in an exam.